Greetings, greetings, greetings. We are not in the lab. We're not in JL, but we're in the HQ. We're in the headquarters, and this is another special run. Tell that. A special run. Tell that. We're glad to have our people with us. And so we got with us Sister Sabrina. Y'all know Sister Sabrina. She's been on here before. Sister Sabrina, how you doing?
I'm fine. How are you? Hello, everyone.
We're doing excellent. And then also we got, y'all know him, we got Brother Rodney, but we got a special guest. We got Sister Rebecca with us. How y'all doing?
Good.
Doing good, doing real good. I'm glad to be here. Definitely glad to be here. A little bit cold. Weather was a little bit active, but we glad to be here. So thank you, Doc, for letting us join.
So I gotta say this: the producer is saying that the director of cinematography he was supposed to be here in HQ, but I went and said it wasn't made clear to the director of cinematography and videography for our black media. So I'm just throwing it out there. And so then the producer would have said, "What is Rodney talking about? That is cold. It ain't cold. He was walking around with short pants in downtown Savannah." So I'm just saying that's what the producer wasn't me.
I don't know. Well, we got some gusty wind. We got some gusty wind out here in Effingham County. It was a little bit different. It was gusty. But
So Mr. Producer, he in Effingham.
yeah, maybe the weather a little bit colder out here. Maybe weather a little bit colder in Effingham now.
We may have some other people join us where we said everyone share. We may have someone join, and this topic what we're dealing with right now for this special run tell that is food, farming, and freedom. Because again, and some of the people, and I had some video footage that I've taken at the Promised Land Farm that it's Sabrina called in the family plots, and I went and did some of that. And so what I had want people to see some of what goes on when you have this talk about food, farming, and again, like we say, it's tied to freedom. And so I'm just gonna start out with just like with a little one of it, just a little one of it. Then we're gonna come back and engage in this conversation, with regards to this right here. Bear with me, because I'm here. Now, Sister Sabrina gonna say, leave these alone. Don't pick these right here. Well, we're gonna let them dry, but Sister Sabrina no. But that frost got them. So that's what Sister Sabrina says. And so that's why she emphasized the use of a seed bank. Brother Rodney emphasized the use of a seed bank. And that's because, again, some of the things that we're growing out here in Promised Land are cultural things, going back to Africa, coming here to coastal Georgia, our traditions, some of the things that you see out here, and people feeding themselves on the tradition, on the foods of their tradition. So, and so it takes some work. Yeah, that's why you see all that over there. People like, what's that? So again, the frost has come out and hit pineapples that got planted. And so what happened over here was that when we did the planting, again, that's tilling the soil for the fall crops, that some later on what happened, some of the seeds from the watermelons that were over there started sprouting up. And so what we did, we started taking the seedlings and planting them over here. And so this one right here was still kicking and still surviving, still going to see some of the others. I had some over there, mine was a little younger. And so again, but they're surviving. That's what happened. Y'all see a row of them. They were still trying to make it. They were still trying to take it on out. Y'all see? Them watermelon, they said they were still trying to, you put us in good earth, give us the nutrients, we're going to still continue to grow. We're going to make it happen. So that's us. Give us the nutrients, give us the good earth, give us the water, give us the sunlight. We will continue to grow in any environments when they think we can. So this is the other part of Brother Rodney's and Ray and Rebecca's work right here. The part of their farming. Yeah, we do it not because it's hard work, it's because it's work that is necessary work. And the same thing that while we are here today, all of us are here today because of this work that were done by our ancestors. So yes, they maintain it. They make it happen. Generation. This is intergenerational.
So, Rebecca, why you out there maintaining farm work? Why you doing farm work out there? Why they got you out there? Why your daddy and also Sister Sabrina got you out there working hard? So, Rebecca, we putting you on the spot right now. See, because again, it's intergenerational. Y'all saw the work out there.
Yeah, I like doing it. It's really fun, and I feel like I just started because I was homeschooled, and like they like just put me into it. And he was like, "Well, there's this farm, and it's really cool, and I think like we should all go out as a family." And then we went, and then I just got to see all these plants, and it was so amazing, and like I felt so connected, like actually. So.
Excellent, excellent. Brother Rodney, anything you want to add to it?
Yeah, no, you said connection. You know, that was the biggest thing. You know, when the first time I met Uncle Bob and his brother, you know, Uncle Bill, it was an immediate connection. And they allowed us, you know, you was talking about like freedom. Like, what does that look like? You know, going out and being able to access those 30, you know, some odd acres, and them allowing us, giving us the space to help produce, you know, that was it was like a real like liberating feeling. I had done just like little backyard gardening and, you know, gardening on like a little balcony on at an apartment or something like that. So it was very like restricted, you know, farming or gardening. So for me to incrementally have like a little bit bigger, you know, backyard, and then them allowing us to really expand that opportunity by getting out on their farm, I mean, it just goes without words how much of a benefit and how much of a blessing it's been to our family. So,
And Sister Sabrina, you are. We say Sister Sabrina is the farm manager, farm director. That's what she does, you know. Brother Rodney, Sister Sabrina, the farm director. Brother Rodney, the farm manager. So, Sister Sabrina, you know, not that I had want to do the video. The producer of Our Black Media, he said do a video and get on her about why she will not allow you all to not go and take the hibiscus that because it got sustained the frost. But just you can elaborate further on other things too, Sister Sabrina.
Well, it's not about me allowing. It's not good. It's past its prime. It's not edible. However, it is good enough for seed saving. And that's why it's still there so that we can get the seeds. We've already taken what we need from the particular what is edible, what is good, and what is going to benefit us. So the rest we're going to leave for the soil. So it can amend the soil. It can be there for the birds, the ants, or whatever else, and we're going to save the seeds. But no, I'm not going to let you take anything that's not healthy for you. It's not. Just because it's a plant does not mean it's healthy for human consumption. And you have to know when to say when.
Okay, all right. So something that we threw out there, and we look at generations being involved, generations, and why is that important to us? You know, to have generations involved. Sister Spring, what's your thoughts on that?
I think the kids loving the garden is one thing, and also just knowing where their food comes from. So it doesn't necessarily come from Kroger. Nothing against Kroger. It doesn't come from Kroger. It doesn't all come from Publix. Being able to eat something without pesticides and that may be processed. Letting them see the process of growth. That is very, very important. And also the health benefits. You want to keep your family, having a longevity spirit, and also to see what is heritage to them. What did our ancestors do back in the day? How did they grow it? What mechanisms did they do? Can we mimic that? Can they create something else? Can they innovate? We have Rebecca here, we have the future here. Is there another process that she can come up with to take care or handle the farm needs that we may not necessarily, we may need another perspective of?
All right, Brother Rodney.
yeah, no, that's real. How do we instill the knowledge that our elders gave us in agriculture, in entrepreneurship, in leadership, and how are we able to apply that to the right now, but also allow the youth to traject it. One of the things we talk about, artificial intelligence and AI. AI is here. Whether or not y'all want to, embrace it or not, AI is here. So how can you work in tandem? How can you work to, prompt the AI accurately, but still do it sometimes in like an agricultural space? I think there is, lanes for that. And that's where that next generation, that's where their roles and responsibilities are. But as far as agriculture, as far as like my backyard or as far as a farm, we always looked at it as like a classroom. From us having, for 5 years having a homeschool, classroom out there, to taking that knowledge and things that was learned and, applying it to our house, although my youth now is in, the more traditional school setting. But
So, to the genius that's with us by the name of Rebecca. So, Rebecca, you worked on some projects. What have been some of the projects you have worked on with regards to tied to agriculture and farming? What have been some of the projects? We want people to hear some of the genius things that you've been doing.
Well, some of the projects that I've been doing, so one of them were like at the beginning of, I think it was this year or last year, we had the Collard Green Festival, and we wanted to do like basically like exhibit, and then we went like into the fields, and we were looking for artifacts to like put in the exhibit. I really loved that. Like, it was so much fun. We like made our exhibit, and like people like also like added things to it. Like Uncle Bob and Uncle Bill and Aunt Flossie had stuff they could add to it that was also important to them and their history there. So I really love doing that. That's one of the things I did.
So we also had a rites of passage event out there this past summer, where we circled it around sustainability, self-empowerment, and we used not only agriculture, but we also talked about archaeology as a discipline. So we also looked at, the history of the farm through archaeology. So.
Excellent, excellent. And Sabrina, you have been involved also with a young person who has been doing some of this work. And as I share with you all, Sabrina's the farm manager. There's another name that we like to use for her and the producer of Our Black Media, but we can't use it right now. But so Sabrina made us get specific type of watermelons and other things like that, and projects and other stuff. So I'm just throwing at Sabrina, what have been some of the projects you've been involved in with regard to the youth? Also, just in general, you can share with regard to the people. We said everyone share.
Okay, so my son, one of the things is that I have a 16-year-old, and he was involved in a wildlife team here in Chatham County. So we look at tracks, the animal footprints in the tracks, or maybe a bone or something, or a feather that may have been left at the farm. That's important for identification. Also, soil identification. What part of the farm is sandy? What part of it is loamy? What part of it needs extra compost? And then with the little ones, I have a 2-year-old. The little one, we did colors, like, so he knows green like the back of his hand. He knows the word flower. He's able to touch the flower. He's able to count, flowers. He can actually do one-to-one corresponding using those particular things. My now project is to identify the different types of roselle or hibiscus that we actually had on the farm. Something we'll share with the audience is that we realized by talking to each other and, fellowshipping and looking at our different types of hibiscus, that all three of us had different types of hibiscus that were in one place. So that was very interesting.
That she got as a project now on everybody. But Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm not at Promised Land. Oh my God! I forgot I'm on the show. I forgot I'm on the show. I had slipped. I had slipped. I had
No,
slipped.
it's important though when you think about like heirlooms and making sure like managing, seeds. I'm not the best at managing seeds. I'm pretty good with telling you like what group it is, but sometimes specifics, I'm not the best at it, So I recognize that. I try to name my seeds, but sometimes it is important to work to make sure that you managing those heirloom seeds. I appreciate the work you're doing, Mr. Brand.
Thank you. And I appreciate you because we bounce ideas off each other. And that's what I love about it. It's like we bounce ideas off each other. Hey Rodney, I'm not too sure if my hibiscus is flowering at the right time. What's your experience with it? Or Doc, I'm not sure if I'm planting this, at the right time, or do you remember last time when we planted it? Documentation, especially of the history and the practices, is very, 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 very important. And the different types, you talked about the types earlier. I'm very specific about what types of watermelon that we grow. We don't want to waste the growing season. So we want to grow things that are going to be effective, that are not going to have too much pest pressure or give us, too much of a problem, especially if we're trying to eat it.
And this is Run Tell That with Sister Sabrina, Sister Rebecca, and Brother Rodney. We're going to take a break. We're going to come right back. We're going to continue this conversation. Food, farming, and freedom. We're going to be elaborating a little bit more about some of that and some of the great work that they're doing. And so we're going to be right back. This is Run Tell That.
Need your garments cleaned with care and with a professional touch? Then bring them to One Price Cleaners in Garden City at the Old Farmers Market on Highway 80. Service you can count on.
Yes, this is work. This is some work right here. This is some work. But it's work for you. It's work for family. Why won't you work for yourself? Why won't you work so that way, if the revolution comes, that you ain't trapped? So again, we don't want to be trapped. This is not any naysay, apocalypse type stuff. I'm just saying, if any changes, some downturn occurs, that we're still able to take care of ourselves. We got nutrients. So again, how about the apocalypse or Armageddon? But it's like, it's revolution of self, revolution of mind, revolution of body, revolution of soul and emotions. That's what this is all about. The families out here, that's why they do what they do. That's why they have all this right here. So again, there's work, but it's work for you. And why should you not work for yourself? And your stuff tastes good when it's stuff that you grow and you eat it. It tastes excellent. It's the best taste in the world. When it's something that comes out of your hand that you help produce, it tastes good.
So, Rebecca, what do you like that you work on? What are some of the things that you like? Again, what you plant? What do you like? What do you enjoy?
Okay, let's see. My favorite things to plant are probably watermelon, like the sprouts. I love planting the watermelon, especially like tasting them at the end of the season. They're so good, so sweet. Especially like the big ones, like the light ones. I like those. Especially the yellow watermelons too. Those are probably my favorite ones to plant.
What else you like?
I like collards. Collards. Sometimes like the little sprouts. I don't really like planting seeds though, especially not like the radish seeds, like the really small ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think watermelon's my favorite.
All right.
Brother Rodney.
Planting. I don't know. I like root crops. Like I like planting like potatoes, but I also like harvesting potatoes. I like sweet potatoes. I really like harvesting, those because like you look at the land, but you don't know what's gonna be like underneath. It's like surprise. That's what I enjoy probably the most.
All right, Sister Sabrina.
I like the okras, the pepper. I like sometimes I like the flour, and I also like the roselle and the carrot.
And I apologize. I did mute myself, Sister Sabrina. You can go ahead and share, because I want people to have to say there was some distortion.
No, oh no, I said I like the kale. I like the greens. I definitely like the greens. I love the sunflowers. I do love the watermelon, especially just seeing how sweet they are at the end. You know, which variety is gonna be, the sweetest. I love the okra to see how big, we can get them. Peppers are my favorite though. I love the roselle, but peppers are my favorite. Especially the more wrinklier ones, the more spicier ones. Those are the best.
And for me, I recently developed some babies called purple top turnips. I just like how they just blew up. I just like how they just blew up. But what happened, and you all heard Sister Sabrina, she has an agriculturalist in her midst. And so I showed Brother Rodney and Sister Sabrina and Brother Greg a piece of a jawbone. A piece of about this much of a jawbone that was by the purple top turnips. And it was almost fossilized. Almost fossilized. Brother Rodney's an archaeologist. It was almost fossilized. It was just like bone white. Bone white. It wasn't cream. It was ivory. It was bone white. So my purple top babies were just sprouting up just like that. My purple top babies were looking so good. But then the agriculturalist in Sabrina's household informed of us something, and then Sister Sabrina then said, "What, Sister Sabrina? You got the floor now. Go ahead."
That they are not for human consumption, that you need to give that to the earth. Why? Because we do not know what animal that jawbone belonged to. Okay? That's nasty. Of course, yes, somebody can make the argument, okay, well, bone meal is ground up bones or chicken bones or something like that, but we know what animal it was. Okay? The jawbone, people, was about this big. This big. What is the jawbone doing next to the purple tops? Something could have dragged it there, but the jawbone is this big. It was this big. Would you do that? You don't know what it died from, what happened. So if you choose to eat his purple tops, that's on you. I won't be eating them.
And they were flourishing fast and stronger than everybody else. Brother Rodney, what's your take on this right here?
That bone been out there. That bone been out there. Ain't no different than bone meal. I don't know. Maybe we just agree to disagree. I would eat it. I make sure I clean it. Make sure I clean the purple top well. But it was sitting like adjacent to it. It wasn't sitting on top of it. I don't think it had any holes in it that looked like it had been eaten or anything. But that's just me.
Hold on. Did you forget to tell them about the feathers and the fur that was right there with it? So what was going on with that? A big jawbone like this, feathers and fur. What happened there? What was going on?
Why you had to bring that up? We had forgotten about that.
Feathers and fur. All of that was right there. So what went down next to the purple tops?
Farm stuff. Stuff that go down at the farm. Stuff that go down at a farm.
So I told him he couldn't eat like maybe 6 or 7 of them because he has a whole lot of them and they're beautiful. And he's been mad ever since they started sprouting. He's been mad for what, 30 days now?
And purple top still out there. Yeah,
they're beautiful. They are gorgeous. You can take pictures of them. And y'all can eat them. I won't be eating it. Rebecca, you gonna eat them?
I'm good.
Okay.
But I got something for Rebecca. Rebecca threw something out there. She threw something out. I had heard that. I heard something, but I got something for Rebecca because Rebecca threw something out there.
These Georgia collards are straight from seeds. These Georgia collards came straight from seeds right here. I planted them as seeds, and they're producing.
That was a pretty.
Yeah, small little seeds. But now, what the video that I could not show was that we had got some startups that basically the people thought really it was nothing like. They say if you can get one or two out of it, that'll be good. So I gave them to Sister Sabrina. So I specifically went and showed the video footage of that, and went also to Brother Rodney and Sister Rebecca and Sister Ray's plot. I went and showed the videos of that. I can't go and show it, but the ones that Sister Sabrina got, absolutely flourishing. And so that is technique that is used. And so I'm throwing it out there to say this right here, and which I said in one of the videos again that we now have to look at, that people remember doing this in their backyards. They remember doing it in communal areas. Even just last weekend, or this past weekend, my mother talked about how at my uncle's place on Hilton Head, that, and there's back him, they had persimmon trees back there. They had persimmon trees right there, all that. In Hudson Hill, I had one of our city council women talk about the plums, talk about persimmons, talk about all the stuff that was just right out there in the environment over there. But today we don't have any of that. We don't have that. And so then when we talk about nutrition, that's tied to education. That again, I share with folks that this is what the deal is, what we're looking at. That COVID gave us an example of what can possibly happen. COVID gave us an example of what can happen, that you don't have access to food anymore, or to the resources, like when you need the resources. And we got to be about it right now to begin to shore up and protect ourselves and have these food banks for ourselves. When I say food, I'm not just saying having a building, I'm saying but having that apparatus in place, having that machine in place, that we will not be starving, that somebody won't be able to cut us off, because as it stands right now, we see corporations buying up land. And that when you are going to oppose some of them about what they want to do, if you want to say be about equity, about justice, we want to be about reparation, we want all that right there, they can try to shut off our communities. So it becomes almost important for us to go back to having our gardens in our neighborhoods and our communities, just around us to protect us. And so I'll throw it out there, Sister Sabrina, what's your thoughts with regards to some of that?
I believe what you're saying is true. That we do need to learn more earth skills. Some people will call them primitive skills, stuff like canning, seed saving, and it doesn't even have to be that. Less than 70 days ago, what happened? We were in a blackout, pretty much. We got hit. People couldn't go to their food that was inside of their refrigerator. What happened? Most of it did what? Spoiled. So you would have been okay if you would have had canned foods that you canned yourself, if you were able to go to the garden and fix a salad. It's very, very important that we learn these skills, that we write them down, that we perfect these processes of, and, we get it from the ancestors. One thing that is guaranteed in life is we will die. So everybody's not going to be here for long. So being able to get that knowledge from our ancestors is very, very, very important. And if you cannot feed yourself, everything goes. You can't study. You're sick. You're going to have more health problems. Your blood sugar is going to drop. It's so many things that happen when you cannot feed yourself.
And this person who's called Chalky White, we're going to probably ban him from our platform. Chalky White will probably be banned. He's saying that's how Ebola got started. Chalky White, we're going to probably ban you. So, Brother Rodney and Sister Rebecca, what's your thoughts with regards to that? Not with regards to Chalky White and Ebola, just with regard to...
I think it start with community. One of my brothers, Denzel Hill, from around the area, we identified some of the same things that you talking about, Doc. Identified maybe like food scarcity, and making sure that our people are well prepared. So we just started having this meeting at Carver Village. We started doing it just like seasonally, and everybody get together. They bring whatever they have, to the table, whether it's seeds, whether it's goods, whether it's soil, anything that you have that you're willing to share to better our community in the agricultural space, urban agricultural space. We've been open to it. So it's been good. It's been very, empowering. It's been very encouraging, to see our community step up and just being willing to share what they can. It's been real encouraging. But I think that when we look at just how kind of fickle or feeble this system is, it makes total sense for us to be well prepared for whatever comes our way.
Okay. Sister Rebecca, any thoughts that you have as a teenager with regard to this?
It's always, it's good to prepare for the future, and you never know. Like one day, it's like vegetables, growing your own food, but tomorrow you never know what it might be. So it's important to grow your own food.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Brother Rodney and I had this conversation. I was in probably not like maybe 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, and that it is amazing that when some of us talk about some of this, and that some people it's almost like they're closed to it, like because it's something foreign to them. But it's amazing the number of people that will then go. It's almost like they have to feel comfortable now to go and talk about, say that's what they did. That they did that with their mother, with their father, they did that with their grandparents, they did it with their uncles. But how they act right now, you would think that it's like 180 degrees away from what their experience. When you actually go and find out that it was like actually close, like they said, I did that for 18 years, I did that for 30 years, I did that for 40 years. Now all of a sudden you act like you had totally forgotten that. It is stunning to me that has occurred. And just I'm throwing it out there to either one of you to like give your thoughts as to why you think that's the case. I have some thoughts which I've shared, but I'm just throwing it out to you all. Why people act like it's almost foreign when in actuality it was. I was surprised when our councilwoman said what she said over in Hudson Hill. But then I'm like looking like, so why do people try to make it seem like it's something different right now when it's a part of our story? So I'll throw it out to any one of y'all to answer, respond to that.
I guess one of my prayers is I just pray that it's like a blip, on like our history in time, especially us as African Americans and our experience here in the Americas. We've always had the ability to self-sustain ourselves with the foods that we're eating. And we, even during enslavement, we always was able to sustain ourselves. And I just hope maybe this, like us getting away from that, is just like a small blip on our history here in the Americas. That's my prayer. That's what I hope for.
I was just checking if anybody else had a thought. So we're going to throw this out. I'm going to throw this out here. I'm going to throw this out here to you.
And again, I learned this from Sister Sabrina. She emphasized if something don't grow, then plant something else. And so that's what happened. We started planting some other things right here. Get some other growth. Other things that want to come into it. So we put plant some other things. Because again, it's for us to go into the spring. Some of the onions right there. I did a little spot of onions right there. So again, the same thing. You see what's going back, making our way back on our sojourn. And so we're going to cross over because we're getting some lettuce right there. Again, peas. Again, hit our beans and peas got hit. We thought to survive, and so this is what I said. The other one on the other side, that is my Gullah Geechee hibiscus over there, and this is my Sierra Leone hibiscus right here. But see, Sister Sabrina told me I shouldn't be picking some of these right here. Sister Sabrina said, no, leave them alone. Don't bother any of these right here. Leave them alone. Yeah, don't bother them. Now Sister Sabrina going to say. So again, the frost has come out and hit pineapples that got planted. And so what happened over here was that when we did the planting, again, it's tilling the
Sabrina, and I'll get, wow.
There you go.
So I did take some of the hibiscus, okay, and we were able to dehydrate it and turn it into whatever you want to turn it into, whether you want to have it with a tea, you want to put it over, crush it up and put it over a dessert, or anything else like that, we were able to do a little bit with it. The rest we're going to save for seeds.
How did you preserve the seeds?
How do we preserve the seeds?
Yeah, I said, how do you preserve them?
So what we did was we cut the branch, the actual branch, and we pulled the calyxes off the flowers and put that in the dehydrator. The actual things that we had left, the pod, we turned them upside down, and as it dried, it would pop. The seed pod pops and it opens up and it gives us the seeds.
You were gonna say something, Rebecca, or you?
I think it's a good idea. Like leave it like upside down.
Yeah, you put upside down, and you just put something there to catch it, and that's when the seeds will come. Because the pods will dry up, and once they dry up, they're not gonna stay tight anymore, and they're just gonna shrivel, and the seeds will drop.
I'm just saying here, still a little stunned at what Sister Sabrina just did. It's almost like it was a little treacherous, kind of a little treachery type stuff. When she did what she just did, I'm still a little taken back by that. I'm just like that. Will tell everybody out there around the entire world looking at the show. I'm just a little stunned right now. That's what's going. Y'all seen Jamal seeing a little, flustered, a little flabbergasted. Yes, I am. I ain't expect her. Bam! As soon as I saw it, I stopped to blink out to take myself off the screen, but I can't do that because I'm the host, so I had to stay right here. So, something that you all shared and you all allude to that I think is also that again extremely important. The seed sharing, the seed gathering the seeds, maintaining the seeds, getting the seeds, and won't y'all discuss that? Why is that important? So, Sister Sabrina.
Well, first of all, sharing, you not only share the needs, the seeds, you share the knowledge, you share the history that comes with it. You share how to grow it. All seeds have a story. It doesn't make a difference. They have a story in it, and that's important. And also, when you pass on a seed, it's very important to give the location that it came from, or if it has any history behind it. That's good. Also for biodiversity, we need biodiversity, but we also need to keep our heirlooms. Okay, it's good to get seeds from other places, but that may not work very well with our body or where we live or our climate for that matter. A lot of seeds from Africa do grow very very well here because of we have African origin. Let me say that have African origin because of the coastal, because of the water, because of the heat. It does very well. Like okra grows really really well. And sharing seeds is very very important. None of this belongs to us. Let's just be very very clear. None of it belongs to us. Why do I want to hoard? Why do I know? I'm going to give it to you so that you can feed your family. Think about it. Look at the pumpkin, like a Seminole pumpkin or a Seminole squash. How many seeds come inside of that if you grow it pretty decent? I can have some seeds for you, some seeds for me, some seeds to save, some seeds for history, for there. How many people did that one pumpkin/squash feed?
No, I totally agree. I think we at a point in time now where we have to look to each other to find solutions. Looking outside of our communities or outside of our families. I don't know if that's like a solution-based approach. I think we got to start by looking in the mirror and then look around at our families and then look around at our communities, because everybody in our community has something to offer, and even speaking to like the intergenerational component too. I think sharing seeds, sharing agricultural practices leads itself to like intergenerational engagement. I've been fortunate enough to sit down with my grandmother who's 98 years old and sit down with my youngest daughter that's 8 years old and be able to talk about strawberries, talk about planting strawberries, talk about planting sweet potatoes, and a lot of these agricultural based stories, we're able to share some of these things, so I feel like when we talk about like solutions and like community based solutions, we got to look at the resources that we have like immediately within our families and in our communities.
Okay. And we're going to take another break. We'll be right back. We got with us Sister Rebecca, Sister Sabrina, and Brother Rodney. And we're doing food, farming, and freedom. We'll be right back. This is Rontel that we said everyone share.
Oh, I mean, my friend, your Savannah homeboy, Clarence Thomas, made sure that I don't go to prison.
So Julius is in there talking to Trump. Oh, I'm telling.
And we're back. This is Rontel that, and we say support the supporters of us and our Black media. Davis Johnson Bozeman Law Firm offices in Savannah, Atlanta, and Statesboro. One Price Cleaners located in the Farmers Market in Highway 80 in Garden City. Kim's Cafe at 714 MLK Jr. Boulevard. And Shep Food and Gas. Don't ride by, stop by. And we are back with Sister Sabrina, Sister Rebecca, and Brother Rodney. So it is something else that you all discussed, and again, you all have a conglomeration of items that you have at Promised Land with regards to the family developments. I'm going to say family development, not saying family areas, but family development. That with regards to, you alluded to it, that you have food stuff that come from Africa, from the Caribbean, from South America, that you all have that coming from Native American areas out west, and so. Why is that important? Why is that important to have cultural items? Because again, to let y'all know, I did do a video, and that's why I talked about that. Again, the work that you all are doing, in particular, Brother Rodney, Sister Rebecca, Sister Sabrina. That again, why is that important to have that motherland okra, that sour coming from Sierra Leone, that having the Aztec corn? Why is that important, Brother Rodney?
Yeah, I mean, So it's where you come from, So if you try to give a panda bear what a polar bear eats, find out what happens. I'm pretty sure that panda bear is not going to last as long. And if you also try to give a polar bear bamboo what a panda bear eats, it's probably not going to last too long. So it seems like it's something aligned with maybe where you come from and wanting to consume things that maybe, you biologically align with. So that's what I would try to do. I would always try to do. And so kind of integrating that into like the foods we eat and even our lifestyles. That's something that we've always tried to strive for.
It's about optimum conditions, optimum conditions. Like I mentioned earlier before, seeds that have their origin in Africa and in certain portions of Asia and certain portions of South America, they do very well inside this particular area. Also, it's nice to eat with your grandmother ate, which are, that you have a familiar attachment and a history to, and so that those recipes that are passed down, with those particular ingredients. That is our heritage. That is something that is culturally relevant to us. So I think that preserving that is very, 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 very important.
Okay, so now I'm gonna throw this out there because Chalky White, again, like I say, Chalky White is going. I'm gonna move to have Chalky White banned from our Black media. Chalky White going to be banned from all platforms. But Chalky White threw it out there with regards to why people go to Home Depot and Walmart to buy seeds. Well, because it's less expensive. It's less expensive. And they do have organic stuff there, but it's less expensive. So I'm throwing it out to y'all. why? Because again, he threw out an important point with regards to that. Why do we look at that solely and not look at saying creating and maintaining, just like we talked about with, because when I say about the Gullah Geechee hibiscus, that came from hibiscus that I had grown going back to Brother Rodney when he gave me some seeds, and then I planted it, and then they grew from the seeds, and then bam, I got that. And so I'm like that. So it's been like, that's like the third generation, from what I got, from what initially got from Brother Rodney. So I might say, hey, it's part of this. It's a part of this environment right here. It experienced the heat, the cold, and all that. And then I said the other one I got, which was the stars I got from Brother Rodney. And then I might say, okay, that's my Sierra Leone. That's why I'm gonna put that label on it. And so why is that important? For me to get that, say from a Brother Rodney, from a Sister Rebecca, a Sister Sabrina, a Sister Devin, a Sister, Shay, why is that important for me to get it from them as opposed to me solely going to, say, to a Walmart and Home Depot, because they got good prices on it.
I feel like it's like a perceived convenience. We perceive that it's more convenient to go to those places. But again, I said perceive because we come to this thought and we come to this idea that it's easier for me to go to Home Depot or go to Lowe's or go to some of these other big box stores and get seeds. But a lot of times you'll find out that they may not have the exact seeds that you want. And sometimes you may just be a Facebook post away or, a call or text away from getting the exact seeds that you wanted. So I think a lot of it is this perceived like is more convenient, and then the same thing in like agricultural space and getting fruits and vegetables, going to a market, going to promised land, going to that farm stand and getting goods. A lot of people perceive it as it's more convenient to go stand in a line, at a place like another big box store. We can literally go to a farm stand. You can pick out exactly which, you can pick out which collard greens you want. If you feel like you should get a little bit more, a lot of times they'll add a little bit more, and you can't do any of those things, at a big box store. So I think it goes back to like this perceived like convenience. It's easier, but in reality, I don't think it is.
Sister Sabrina.
So there's nothing wrong, especially when you're first starting off your journey of farming or gardening or just connecting with the land to grab some of those seeds. However, those are just standard seeds. You have the basic this, the basic that, the basic this, the basic that. They do have organics. Don't get me wrong. Their prices are good. But what if I want something else? They don't sell Roselle seeds at Home Depot. You know why? Because that's a little different. Those seeds come with history and a little complex more or a little higher price than people are they're not willing to pay that particular price. And also with seeds, one of the things we have to know that seeds carry genome, they carry genetics, they carry their hardship with them. If mama and daddy produce this nice okra that has been through all of the hardship, the weathering, the heat, the blazing sun, guess what? That next generation is even stronger. If mama and daddy fought off this blight, this, that, and the other, and they were still good, or that plant fought it off, the next seed generation gets even better. You can tell me about this seed. That's the importance of sharing as well. We share. One thing I like about us is that, hey, we share. But there's nothing wrong with it. But it's a convenience. The price is nice. Sometimes they have organic, sometimes, but they may not have everything that you want. After you're tired of growing the basic varieties and you may want to spice it up a little bit. Where do you go?
Okay. There are some people on social media know that in particular last year there were some issues that I had. And so I'm going to throw this out here. And I'm throwing this out to Rebecca, but to all of you right here. How do you deal with Bambi? How do you deal with Bambi? How do you deal with Bambi? How do you deal with Bambi and Peter Rabbit, Peter Cottontail? Rebecca, how do you deal with the deers, the rabbits, and all that? How do you deal with Bambi? Because I saw Bambi munching on some of my broccoli just this week right here. I just saw. So, Rebecca, how do you deal with Bambi? Or how do you think we should deal with Bambi?
Well, so deers, I don't. Well, uh, there's like a lot of ways. They usually use a malogranite, but I don't like that way. But for like the rabbits, look, I love rabbits a lot. See, this is my little baby.
See, we embrace rabbits over here. Yeah, we won't push them away. We embrace rabbits.
Say hi, Crystal.
We gotta embrace them.
Yeah, I love rabbits. So
Yeah. So rabbits ain't they're not too much of a pest, but yeah, like she was saying, malogranite seems to work well. I've seen scarecrows. I've seen people, put like solar powered lights in areas. I've seen people use all sorts of things, but it seems like malogranite seems to be the most effective.
All right, Sister Sabrina.
The malogranite is nice, but I don't like the smell. I see why it keeps them away. That's a strong smell. Neem cakes is a good thing. Planting things that they actually don't like is another thing. They like young, fresh plants when they get hungry, and that's another thing. Their environment, when their environment starts to impact, then people are tearing down forests and everything else like that. They don't have anything to eat. So if they don't have anything to eat, where do you think they're gonna come? They're gonna have buffet on my row or your row or anything else like that. So you're going to have to kind of learn to live with nature. That's the organic, part about it. And unfortunately, you can't do anything about it unless you want to hunt the deers, and we're not out to do that. Rebecca has a rabbit. Rabbit poop. People sell rabbit poop. Rabbit poop is very, very good for the garden.
Extremely good.
Very, very good for the garden.
As Sister Glenda would go and say, when I had Uncle Bob, and most I be pleased with him and all the work that he's done. Uncle Bob said that he was taught, you plant enough for the deer, and so last year what happened, my hibiscus got eaten by the deers. The deers ate my hibiscus. First year they ain't bothered. Last year they decided to eat my hibiscus, and then they ate it when they now the calyx on it, but they had ate it even when they were young and tender. So yeah, and one of them thrived from that. And so with that, because that's something that is real, because some people talk about that, people who are doing it in their backyards, they say, I got deers jumping over my fence, they jumping and they coming and they like, going through it. And so that becomes one of the things that people have to deal with. And so I'm going to throw this out to Rebecca also, and then throw it out to all of you. What do you want young people to get from farming? What do you want young people to learn, and young people to understand why farming is important?
I feel like one thing we should learn from farming is definitely like how to make your own food. Like at the school I go to, we don't have any cooking classes. We have an agriculture class, but like besides that, that's the only way you can get out and about. But my school's really into like farming. My school has like many clubs, but I feel like there's other ways that kids can learn about like farming and like getting outside and into the garden. But I really want them to learn like it's not that hard to make your own food. Like just grow your own food. It's not that hard.
Okay, excellent point. Brother Rodney.
Yeah, for our youth, I would literally say, like literally and figuratively, like farming is our future. It's getting more difficult. I mean, people that track seeds, they know it's becoming increasingly more difficult to access certain types of seeds. It's becoming more costly, and also we are seeing a active an active push to make it a little bit more difficult. You hear, I don't know if this is just social media or just what you're hearing. You're hearing a lot of things of, maybe HOA restrictions on maybe how many raised beds you can have, how they try to maybe limit you harvesting rainwater. So it's a lot of pushes on a couple of different levels to try to limit your ability to be self-sufficient. So I think that that's just showing it why it's even more important to develop those skill sets and develop those maybe nature sciences, continue to expound on those.
Yeah, and say I was not aware. You all brought something. You shared something that I wasn't aware. Restrictions with regards to the number of raised beds that you can have. I'm stunned at that. And rainwater. Oh my God. So again, that goes to show you. And what I tell folks, that's it. Because oftentimes what happens, people are sitting in these places and they're throwing out information that is absolutely incorrect. And I mean, just creating policies. I'm like saying that's insane. So, Sister Sabrina, we throw it to you and have you closing us out with regards to that.
So I think that we have to take this stigma away from it, that it's this back-breaking work that you never get paid, that you have to be there's no reward, that you have to be bent over and hunched over in the field for 6 to 8 hours a day. And it's honestly, it's not like that. That's the first thing that we need to do. Like Rebecca was saying, that there are different ways. They have gardens and farms inside of containers. They're vertical gardens. Young people are finding different ways to make it easy and make it convenient. And we just need them to really, really continue to do that. Continue to find different ways, different species, different ways to use a whole plant. Is not just, you can use the roots, the stems, the stuff of the flowers, to find different ways to use it, whether it's to heal, whether it's bedding material, whether it's fertilizer. Just find those ways to use it, because we're up against a lot of political stuff that is going to come our way, a lot of climate change that is going to come our way, a lot of AI is going to come our way, and we have to find a way to work with that. And our young people are going to be responsible for that. That's going to be their responsibility. And I think they're up to the task, and I think they can do it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just to share with the audience out there, one of the things that I like salads. I love salads. And the thing for me is that the salads that I'm eating, that I tell people, I can have all my salads right now out of my garden. From my kale to my broccoli to my lettuce, that again my arugula coming directly from me with regard to that. And then also when I then have my turnips, I have my collards, that again, it is a joy and it's a pleasure, and that I make sure that I try not to waste that. Sometime before, if I go to the supermarket, get it, and it ain't got some of the stems on it, guess what? I'm eating my stems too with my salad. I'm making sure I cut them up, and my peppers, that again. So, and that's the joy coming from me. And so this is Ron Tell That. We're going to be signing out. We got Sister Sabrina with us, Sister Rebecca, Sister Rodney. Glad to have you all. And we're signing out. This has been Ron Tell That. Check out all the shows on Our Black Media. Peace and blessings.